I hate looking at this footage and I hate that I'm showing you this, but I was feeling completely lost in life. But let me just backtrack for a moment because I want you to have the whole story. You see, I did everything you were supposed to do. I got straight A stars throughout school. I went to one of the best universities in London. I graduated with first class honours, and I got a good job in London as a dentist. I was basically every Asian parent's dream. I could earn 6 figures a year at the age of 26 in a well-respected and stable profession. But there was one problem. I wasn't happy. I didn't enjoy my job. I honestly thought that dentistry was what I wanted, and I reached this pinnacle of success only to realise it wasn't. I thought to myself, is this it then? Is this what my life is going to be? I tried to talk to my family and friends about it, and I'd be met with comments like, Akta, that's just life. No one likes their job. I got encouraged to work as hard as I could, earn as much money as possible, and buy some properties, or better yet, buy a dental practice. I felt like I was being encouraged to just follow through the next hoop that I had to jump through. I looked at everyone around me who were getting on with their jobs, climbing their career ladders, and proudly posting about it on social media. I thought that everyone had life figured out but me, and I thought there was something wrong with me that I couldn't just get on with it. Now don't get me wrong, I know I was in a very privileged position. I know so many people would love to have the opportunities that I've had, but as much as I tried to suppress my feelings and carry on with that path that I was on, I just couldn't, and I knew that I couldn't settle. So if dentistry wasn't for me, what was? Honestly, I had no clue. I began scouring the internet for answers, and there was a lot of them.
So Dharma, or purpose, which is right here, right in the middle, is made up of 3 key things that I'll be speaking about today.
So Ikigai basically means a reason for living.
And that's when these 3 questions can save you when you're stuck and you don't know where else to go. What am I good at? What do people tell me I'm good at? And what's holding me back?
This is called what I call the quadrant of success.
By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief?
I tried all of these exercises and more. I wanted to find my purpose, my Dharma, my Ikigai, my passion, my why. I felt like if I could find the answer, the one thing in my life that I was meant to do, everything would magically fall into place. But I couldn't find it. And maybe if you've ever struggled to decide what you wanted to do in your life, you felt the exact same. I realised that maybe there were a few problems with some of these exercises and these concepts and this very idea of finding an answer. What I enjoy or what I'm passionate about might not be something I could directly make a living from. I might have multiple passions, interests and purposes throughout my life. And I might not have come across that one thing that I'm meant to do yet, so I wouldn't even know if I enjoy it or that I'm good at it. I was trying to find this single big answer based on all of the experiences that I had up until that point in my life, which as a dentist who qualified straight after school was fairly limited. And that's basically what happened to me when I was 18 and I applied for dentistry. I made that decision based on what I thought I might enjoy, rather than knowing for sure. So in the end, I realised that I wanted to take a different approach this time and be a little bit more active. So without any clear direction, I've spent the last few years trying to figure this whole thing out, and to be honest with you, I'm only just beginning to make sense of it now, and I've only just realised what's next for me. But before I tell you what's next for me, I want to share 3 things that have helped me to change my path when I realised that I didn't want to settle. This isn't going to help you work out the answer in itself, but it will give you the confidence and the support to go and do it. I had to really sit down with my family and friends and really make them understand how I was feeling. And in the end, they really did support any decisions that I made, which made the process a lot easier, so I'm so grateful. My husband even supported me going part-time as a dentist whilst I was trying to figure out this whole thing. But to be honest, I think the bigger part of it is actually accepting and supporting yourself. So changing that narrative from what's wrong with me to I can't wait to see what's next. It's really hard to let go of something that you've associated with your identity for so long, and admitting that you don't know what's next, that you don't know what you're doing, and that you're feeling a little bit lost. It's a knock to your self-worth. And it's also really scary dealing with uncertainty. So for a long time, I actually did keep my true feelings to myself, but eventually I learned to own it. When people asked me what I did for a living, I became very open. I told them that I was a dentist, but I didn't enjoy it, and I was currently trying to figure out what was next for me. I'll be honest with you, I had a few people that I'm pretty sure looked down on me, but it didn't really matter because it was constantly reinforcing that message to myself that I wasn't going to settle, and I felt quite empowered for it. With the internet and social media, we constantly see other people in their jobs and in their careers looking happy, and we end up thinking that we want the same career path as them. I remember seeing someone I know who's a dentist go into facial aesthetics and really thrive, so I thought, great, I'm going to do the same. And I tried it and I didn't like it. It's not their job or career we want when we look at them, it's the fact that they look happy and that they seem to know what they're doing which we're drawn to. When I started talking to other people more openly about the fact that I wasn't happy in my career, I realised that I wasn't alone. I came across so many people who also didn't love their jobs, and they were either on the same path as me, or they were staying in their jobs, broadly speaking, for one of these reasons. They loved the money, their self-worth was tied in with their job title, they thought that hating your job was normal, they didn't know what else to do, or they had responsibilities that were more important than whether they enjoyed their job or not. As I spoke to more and more people, I felt more reassured that I couldn't look at other people and base what I was doing on that, because things aren't always what they seem. And when I saw that other people hated their jobs but were too fearful to leave or too attached to money and status, again I saw what I didn't want, which was to settle. It gave me even more faith and even more confidence that I was on the right path by wanting to change it, so I became a lot more comfortable with following my instincts. With support and more self-awareness, I then began looking for answers. And instead of being an explorer hunting for treasure and relying on treasure maps like Ikigai, I would be a miner, digging to find more and more answers about myself. I could only do this through experience rather than planning, and this was the first time in my life that I didn't have a plan. I decided to look at the things that I had any sort of interest or curiosity in, and I began to explore each of them further. So this included things like illustrating, yoga, writing, painting, marketing, skincare, coaching, wedding and event planning. I didn't try all of these things at the same time, but when something crossed my mind, rather than just thinking on it, I actively tried it to see whether I enjoyed it. With illustrating, I started an Instagram account and I did digital drawings every day. Vanessa Hudgens actually shared one of my drawings on her Instagram page, and people started contacting me about commissions. But eventually I grew bored of it. It wasn't for me. With yoga, I began practicing every day and I signed up for yoga teacher training. I loved it, but I realised that I didn't want to teach it. I spoke to coaches, people in PR and event planners to find out what their day-to-day looked like. I didn't mind it, but I found that I enjoyed the creative digital products for these things more fun than the role themselves. I started an Instagram page and a YouTube channel on skincare. I found that I was more drawn to writing captions, scripting and editing than I was for skincare. None of these things immediately made me think, okay, this is it, this is my passion. But through doing this, I've realised that rather than sitting there trying to come up with this perfect answer, it's better to actively try things to see what you like and see what you don't like. Yes, you might try things that aren't your right path, but it doesn't really matter because trying will give you more information rather than thinking about it. You might also see more options, more things you like that you didn't even know existed, and as you explore your interests, you might get better at them and they might become your passion. And this is what ended up happening to me. My YouTube channel evolved, I started writing more articles, I designed digital products for weddings, and through all of this, I realised that I loved creating online. I couldn't see how I could make a living from this unless my YouTube channel took off, which I didn't want to rely on, but it didn't matter because I found something that I really enjoyed. Maybe you were hoping that through this process, I could come up with this really clear, distinct answer, a very clear and viable career path that I could follow. But I'm sorry to disappoint, that didn't happen. I didn't come up with one big answer, but I came up with lots and lots of small answers, and I'm a lot happier now. I handed my notice in at the end of 2021. I had no jobs lined up, but I wanted to push myself to make money outside of dentistry in 2022, but then a door opened right in front of me. I was contacted by a tech startup who wanted me for a creative role. It was a role that I didn't know existed, but it involved a lot of the things that I was passionate about. And I hate using the word passion, but that's what it is. It was all about creating content and building a community online. So guys, from April, I'm no longer a dentist. I've actually managed to make a career change. I'm now the founding creator of Passion Fruit, a startup that helps creators to manage their businesses. It's not a role that I could have planned for. I didn't even know it existed, so I could never have set that goal and then gone from A to B. I just followed my interests and I engaged in them even when I couldn't really see where they were going. And through the way, I've met so many people and had so many opportunities because when you do something you love, people do take notice. But even bigger than that, even though the past few years have been really tough trying to figure out what to do with my life, I feel like they've actually been some of the best years in my life because I've been spending my time trying and doing things that I really enjoy. So I don't know where this path is going to take me, if it's going to last or change or evolve over time. All I know is I'm really glad I didn't settle. And I just want to say that obviously we are so much more than what we do for a living, but I just hope that if you are feeling a little bit lost, that you use joy to guide your way. Because even if you don't find one perfect answer and you don't know where you'll end up, at least you'll feel a lot happier on your journey if joy is guiding you.